flying solo today, and I'm trying to bring you a weekly update from Garrett's Games, and these are going to be called Wine, Music, and Games. So every week, Shelley and I, or maybe just me, are going to sit down in front of the camera and talk about something we are drinking, something we are listening to, and something we are playing. So the idea here, we have a number of hobbies, but probably the three greatest hobbies that we have are games, of course, 750 episodes as of this week on the podcast. I mean, we've been doing this a long time and loving a lot of games, and hopefully you've been appreciating the audio podcast. But I have always had a passion for music, and part of that is, as you'll see with this one, about my dad and how he helped raise me in music, if you will. But then, of course, wine is another huge aspect of our loves and passions, and so we will start with that. So this week's wine is one that we found actually at Costco, of all places. We go into Costco and we pick up a wine, that has the types of grapes that we might like and so on. And so this is a Vouvray, which is a town. If you know French wine, they are known by towns, and this is a town in the Loire Valley, which is southeast of Paris. And we have been to Vouvray, we've been to Sancerre, which is probably the best known of the wine villages. Vouvrays usually are Sauvignon Blanc, but this one is a Chenin Blanc, and very nice. We've picked up a couple of cases of this. Very drinkable, love it a lot, and goes very well with, fish or veggies and stuff like that, or if you just pour in a glass of wine before dinner starts and stuff. So this is a nice Vouvray from Vincent and Tania Carême, or Carême, I think is how it is. Really good. I have it listed here below, and worth checking out. In terms of music, so my dad died about 15 years ago now, just a little after or a little before we started the podcast. Not that one led to the other, but it certainly was something that I was thinking about as I was doing the podcast and getting into things. And one of the things that I was able to inherit, because amongst the siblings, my brother and I'm definitely the one who enjoys and loves music and is more musically inclined, having played music throughout high school and so on, having played French horn. And Dad was a huge lover of jazz. And though my likes are very eclectic all over the place, I have Dad's vinyl. And so I've been really getting back into vinyl, as have a lot of people. But here are two by Thelonious Monk that I have been listening to. So this one is Monk Big Band and Quartet in concert, and then the unique Thelonious Monk. I try to find things, with jazz, and I'm not a huge, I don't have a lot of knowledge about jazz, but I like I know what I like, and Monk and Dave Brubeck, and those are kind of where my dad's taste was, West Coast jazz, and so those two are really great to have on as I'm making dinner, as we're playing a game, and as I'm doing editing, and as I am, grading papers, stuff like that. As long as there's no words, then I can grade papers and edit stories for journalism, things of that nature, and I really enjoy those. All right. And then the game is, I got a band on it here, Rajas of the Ganges. This is the Dice Charmers version. So Big Brother's behind me here, and we're going to be playing this probably over Thanksgiving because we got the goodie boxes and we're going to add the expansions. It's kind of nice to go back and forth. But this is a roll and write. We laminate all our boards, so that's why that's attached there. But a really great dice game that is going to be covered on this coming week's podcast in more depth. We love this game. As Shelley says in the podcast, this is probably going to fit in her top 10. Wouldn't be surprised if it's in my top 10 as well. It just streamlines and kind of gets down to the essence, but it has that wonderful Rajas of the Ganges double scoring track where when the two scorings come together, then that's when the game ends. The other nice thing is you have both sides of the paper used, and you have two different boards in the box. So Rajas of the Ganges, Dice Charmers, R&R Games, Inka and Markus brand. Really, really solid title that we're glad we picked up. So, those 3 things are my recommendations for this week. We will see you next week. And of course, tune into the podcast. And episode 751, one of the things we're going to talk about is Rajas of the Ganges, the Dice Charmers. Have a great week, everybody.